very differently to any car we've used in an F1 game before. We'll get onto the physics later, but for now let's focus on just the cars. The final version of the game, as revealed by a tweet the F1 Game Twitter account posted earlier this week, will have the final car models, and they look great. The preview build that you will have seen most content creators playing on did not have the final car models, hence why most of the gameplay out there at the moment does not feature the new cars. But rest assured, the final version of the game will have them included. The cars also ride much lower than in other years, meaning that not only can you lose the rear by riding the curbs, you can actually completely bottom out and end up stuck on the curbs. So fingers crossed you don't end up stuck out there on track when you get racing. There are two different modes you can use to race in game. These are broadcast and immersive. When in a race, these will affect the way certain features work, such as pit stops, safety cars and the formation lap. Those on broadcast won't have to control the car when under safety car conditions, for example, and will instead be treated to some TV-style camera angles following the cars as they lap. Likewise, those in immersive mode will have full control over their formation lap, including lining up on the grid and the timing of their pit stop when in the pit lane. These features add another layer of accessibility to the game, as well as an added element of realism for those chasing a realistic F1 gaming experience. Did you know you can actually pick your commentator? That's right, for the first time you can pick your race commentator in-game from a long list of commentators. This includes Sky Sports' David Croft and Natalie Pinkham and Channel 4's Alex Jakes. For those around Europe, other options include Sasha Roos, Jacques Villeneuve and Jean-Eric Verne. So you really will be able to tailor your race weekend to be the exact experience that you want. The race weekend now comes in 3 different formats. This includes standard, authentic and sprint and race. As sprint races were missing from F1 2021 despite being present in real life, they have now been added to F1 22. The exciting thing is that you can participate in them at any track in the F1 calendar, as opposed to just the tracks that have them in the real world. As with the full race itself, you can also change the length of the sprint races. For example, if you go for short, then you'll only be doing 5-lap sprint races, but if you choose long, then you'll have 50% length sprint races. This means that you can add sprint races to any track in the calendar, but also put them at any length that you want. That's some neat customization right there. The handling this year is also very different. Now this is a combination of a new tyre model as well as the latest aerodynamic changes due to the new regulations. For the first time in a long time, there has been a large change between F1 games in the way the cars themselves behave. For example, this will largely play out on the curbs. On the whole, the cars are lower and have a stiffer sidewall on the tyre. This leads to 2 possibilities. You can now beach your car completely, leaving you stranded, like we said earlier, and curbs will also be far less forgiving from now on. Anyone watching the Canadian Grand Prix last weekend will have seen how much these new cars bounced over the curbs on the final 2 corners. Likewise, when exiting a corner, you'll notice a fair amount of oversteer. Primarily, this will have you having to tweak your setup further, or just watch your throttle as you exit a corner. So those are 5 things that we think you should know about F1 22 before buying. Will you be buying the game? Let us know in the comments below. For now though, thanks for watching. I've been Mark from Racing Games. Please like and subscribe to stay updated with all things F1 22. And now I'm off to see if these car models really are all that accurate. I've got my measuring tape ready. Let's go check some cars.